The studio lights had never felt so bright and the air seemed heavier than ever. Over the years, viewers had come to expect Kelly Ripa's energy, quick wit, and the undeniable chemistry she shared with her co-host, Mark Consuelos. But nothing could have prepared them for the raw moment that unfolded on that day. Kelly's emotional farewell to Mark. It was more than just a goodbye. It was the closing of a significant chapter in their shared story, a chapter that had been built on love, partnership, and years of genuine connection. A partnership built on trust and respect. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos had become one of television's most beloved couples. Kelly, known for her boundless energy and fast pace, balanced perfectly with Mark's steady, grounded presence. Together, they formed an unbreakable bond that resonated with their audience. Their relationship wasn't just a performance for the cameras, it was a real connection that viewers could feel. Their ability to laugh, to support one another through thick and thin, had made them more than just hosts. They had become a beacon of love and authenticity in a world often dominated by superficiality. The weight of the moment. When Kelly began to speak, the emotion in her voice was palpable. For years, she had been known for her charisma and her ability to handle any situation with ease. But in that moment, her smile faltered and the words came slowly, carefully chosen. She was afraid that by speaking the truth, she might make the moment irreversible. And yet, in those moments of vulnerability, the depth of their shared history and partnership was unmistakable. Mark sat beside her, quietly listening, his expression soft and full of understanding. His presence was reassuring, like a rock to her turbulent emotions. His simple gesture, reaching for her hand, spoke volumes. It was a quiet yet powerful reminder that even in moments of intense emotion, sometimes the most comforting thing is a gentle touch. This was no act. It was real, unfiltered, and deeply human. Mark's reflection, gratitude, and growth. As Mark spoke, his voice was steady, full of gratitude and warmth. He thanked their team, their loyal audience, and above all, Kelly. He spoke about their partnership, not just in their marriage, but in every aspect of their lives together. Their relationship was built on respect, admiration, and a mutual commitment to grow both professionally and personally. While his words were calm, his eyes revealed the depth of his emotions. This moment wasn't just about saying goodbye, it was about celebrating what they had built together. The power of vulnerability. What made this farewell so powerful was the honesty that defined it. In a time when so many public figures carefully curate their images, Kelly's breakdown was a powerful reminder of the strength in vulnerability. She didn't try to hide her tears. She didn't rush to move past the pain. Instead, she allowed her emotions to unfold naturally, trusting that the audience would understand. And they did. Social media erupted with support and reflections from fans, many of whom had been inspired by Kelly and Mark's relationship over the years. For many, their openness and genuine connection had provided hope, showing that love and partnership could endure, even in the spotlight. Behind the scenes, a testament to authenticity. Colleagues and friends of Kelly and Mark spoke about the authenticity they saw on screen. They described Kelly and Mark as kind, generous, and deeply committed to not just each other, but to the people they worked with. The farewell was emotional for everyone involved, and it was clear that the impact of their partnership extended beyond the audience. This was not just a moment of professional change, it was a recognition of the deep bond that had shaped their work and personal lives. Moving forward with resilience. In the days following the farewell, Kelly's emotions were undoubtedly mixed. There's a strange quiet that follows such a public, raw moment, a space where the emotions of that moment settle and reality takes its place. But those close to her say that Kelly carried on with the resilience as she always has. She understands that endings aren't the conclusion, they are simply part of a larger story. Her tears didn't represent weakness. They showed the depth of her strength, the courage to feel and express what so many often hide. Mark's next chapter. Mark, too, was ready to step into his next chapter. His journey, shaped by family, integrity, and purpose, was far from over. While the farewell marked the end of one phase, it was not a farewell to the bond they had built. Their partnership, rooted in mutual respect and love, remained unwavering. Even as they each moved forward in different directions, the foundation they had laid together would always be part of their story. The beauty of goodbyes. One of the most beautiful aspects of Kelly's emotional farewell was the reminder that goodbyes don't always have to be tragic. They can be bittersweet, painful, yet full of beauty. This farewell wasn't about loss, it was about honoring what had been and making space for what was to come. Kelly's tears didn't mark an ending, but a heartfelt pause in the ongoing story of their lives, a moment that would stay with them and their audience for years to come. A quiet acknowledgement of what was shared. As the segment ended, there was no dramatic flourish. There were no grand speeches or attempts to wrap everything up neatly. Instead, there was a quiet acknowledgement of what had been shared. A look, a squeeze of the hand, a deep breath, and then, as life always does, it moved forward. The moment lingered not because of the tears, but because of what those tears represented. A partnership that had been built on trust, respect, and a love that transcended the cameras and the stage. Kelly's vulnerability was a reminder that even in a world that often values perfection, it is the messy, real emotions that leave the most lasting impact. The quiet. After the broadcast. Long after the cameras had stopped rolling, the weight of that moment continued to echo. The studio, once filled with lights and noise, had quieted. Kelly sat alone for a moment, letting the emotions finally settle. In the silence, she reflected on what had been a partnership, not just in front of the camera, but in every aspect of their lives. The space that had been shared with Mark for so long now felt empty, yet in that emptiness was something else. Reflection. The courage to let change happen. Mark, too, took a moment to reflect. Stepping into a new chapter meant leaving behind a part of his life that had been deeply intertwined with his daily routine. Yet, he understood that sometimes change is necessary for growth. As he gathered his things and prepared for the next phase, he paused to look back at the space that had held so many moments, both planned and spontaneous. Every shared laugh, every debate, every quiet glance, all of it lived on in memory. Home, together, no applause, just comfort. That evening, away from the cameras and microphones, Kelly and Mark sat together at home. No speeches, no applause, just the comforting presence of one another. They talked quietly, revisiting the moment of the farewell, acknowledging how hard it had been and yet how necessary it was. Kelly admitted that letting herself cry on air had scared her, but Mark reminded her that it was what made the moment true. People didn't fall in love with perfection, he said. They fell in love with honesty, the foundation of their connection. Through the years, Kelly had never pretended to have it all together. She shared the chaos of parenting, the awkwardness of aging, the uncertainty that comes with change. And Mark had always been there, showing up as himself, thoughtful, imperfect, and present. It was their honesty, their authenticity that had been the foundation of their connection with each other and with their audience.